Hi, my name is Gianna Benny, and I'm the president at Rome City Institute. And today I'm interviewing Macy Lutz, who is one of my best friends from my first year here in 2023. She did a gap semester and then went on to play Division I college soccer. So, will you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Macy Lutz. So I played soccer at for the Michigan Hawks, like all growing up, and then I had two older sisters who like also played college soccer, and my dad played soccer at Drexel, so soccer was a big part of my life, like throughout my whole life. He grew up in like Holland, so I feel like we were very like international, and he like wanted me to be able to experience that too. Um, so I had committed to St. Louis University when I was a sophomore in high school, and then after that I did dual enrollment through high school, so I was able to get like credit hours like already done, and I was able to graduate early. So once I figured out that, I was like, should I go to college early or should I like explore other opportunities? And I think that I was talking to my dad and like he played overseas, so we kind of had that conversation and just like looked into programs and we found Rome City and like it was an awesome fit. I mean, playing in Rome was just like an amazing idea. And I had visited the year before, checked out the program, like made sure that it'd be something that I was interested in the following year. And then after that, I like made the commitment and I loved it. So
Yeah. Did you feel like Rome City met your expectations? What did you expect going into it?
it met my expectations definitely, but I also was like able to visit the year before and talk to some of the girls. There was like a girl that played there before. She went to Princeton. Her name was Pia, and I was able to have like a good conversation with her, see if it was like able to get her ready for college. And I think that it definitely like met my expectations because like I was able to train twice a day in the morning with Rome City, but then also with a club team in the afternoon, and then also like you had the like freedom to kind of do what you wanted, like meet friends. I met like obviously you, everyone else from that semester that I'm like still friends with like to today. So
Yeah, and bouncing off of that question, I know, obviously I know, but you could tell everybody else about where you train. So I know you trained a little bit with Roma Primavera and as well as Lazio Primavera. And just, yeah, share a
yeah,
little bit
so
about that
oh,
experience.
sorry. When I first got here, I like did Rome City and then I had talked to um like Richard a little bit, and I was like, yes, I do want to train with a club team because like I have to be ready when I go into college in the fall, and like I agreed with my college coaches if I was gonna do this gap semester, I needed to be playing for like a club team as well. So I had a 1 week training with AS Roma Primavera, and that was like very awesome. I mean, obviously, like AS Roma is like amazing program. So the train with them is very like high level and everything. And then I also got the opportunity to train with Lazio. And then they were like, yes, like she can continue training. And I did that for the rest of the semester. And I feel like both of the teams were had like a very good training environment, like similar to what do you experience in college.
Yeah, and did you feel like, so again, did you feel like that then set you up for college? Like, did you feel ready going into college based off the level you had been playing at prior?
I think yes, but also like there are differences in like American soccer versus European like soccer. I think that which like also helped a lot. In Europe, they're definitely more like technical. I think like tactical is like more their style of play, where in the US I feel like it's more like fitness and like size. So I feel like it was good because I'm not a technical player and I was able to work on that side of like my like game while I was there. And then like obviously over the summer I had that time to like work on my fitness. So I think that there definitely were like pluses to it because I've never played that style of soccer all through club. Like I've been playing the American style where it's kind of like kick and run, or like fast, like who's fast, strongest. We're like in
Definitely like
Italy, it's
physicality,
very technical. Yeah,
especially for
technicality.
you, like being a center back. I think there's a lot of times in the US where as a center back, your role is seriously defend, win the ball, get it away. And I think that here
Yeah.
that's like not the idea, right? We're very much like taught get the ball. If anything, the center backs are such a huge role in the European style of playing because you're constantly moving the ball through your back line.
Yeah.
Okay, what was kind of like a day in the life for you when you were here in Italy doing the gap year program?
But yeah, a typical day in the life would look like I would wake up and then I'd have training at like 9 or 10 in the morning. So I'd walk or take the bus to practice. And then afterwards, it was like usually all the Rome City girls. So we'd get coffee at like the little coffee shop nearby and just like chat. And then either we would go to, if we had class that day, I would go to Italian or like the sport
Sports
management
management.
class. So I'd either do like one of those two and then go home, kind of like reset, hang out with friends for a little bit, like eat lunch, and then the coach or like the president for Lazio would pick me up around like 3 o'clock, and then I drive out to their training center, have practice, and like the drive was a little bit further away, so then we'd have practice, we'd have lift, and then he would just take me back home, and then I'd usually eat dinner and then just go to bed. But it was very fun.
Yeah. And did you feel like there was a good transition coming from the US, like transition into Rome City, where obviously you're going to a new country, but did you feel like the overall, like the environment of Rome City made it an easier transition?
Yeah, it's like especially because there's people from all over, like everyone's in the same boat as you, where everyone's coming in knowing like no one. And I feel like I'm like a pretty social person, so I'm able to like meet people easily. So like for me, it was like a very easy environment to jump into. And also like I got lucky with the group that we had. Like everyone was so friendly, like wanted to hang out, do stuff outside of soccer, like not just go to training and not like hang out. We were able to hang out outside of classes, like go get dinners, and like I feel like that's so fun. Like I've met people that I'm gonna be friends with for like the rest of my life.
What were some of the biggest adjustments of living in Europe and just like the lifestyle, whether that's within soccer or outside of soccer?
I think the biggest adjustments for me was obviously I didn't know Italian, so that was like very hard. Like when you're playing on a soccer team and you don't know Italian, it can be tricky, but I feel like you get the hang of it, and also you're taking an Italian class, so like that will help you. And I feel like all my teammates, even though I was an American player, like they loved that I was American, because like not only could I practice my Italian with them, but they could practice their English with me. And then also I feel like I mean I was 17 when I went to Rome City, so I feel like living on my own for the first time was like definitely like such an adjustment. Like I had never cooked a homemade meal, anything. So like I was able to learn so much in like that 6 months where like when I came back, my parents were like, you have like matured, like grown as a person completely.
Yeah, I think that's obviously like a huge part about coming here is you're kind of thrown into it, especially coming for a gap year where you're mostly coming out of high school. It's like,
Yeah.
what were some of your favorite memories just in general living in Rome? That
Yeah, I think definitely like honestly with you, like me and Gigi would do like trips all the time. We would go like we on weekends where we didn't have games or anything, because I wasn't playing games with Lazio, I was just training, so I had my weekends free, and then obviously like she was playing an actual game. So like whenever she had a free weekend, we would plan a trip and like go somewhere, and like I feel like that's like honestly whenever I look back at my best moments, I'm like those were so fun. Like we were able to go to so many different countries, like and travel so much and like learn about different cultures. So like that was honestly my favorite, but also like the food is amazing. Like literally living in Rome is so amazing. Like you can go anywhere you want. You're literally walking in like history, like you learn so much. So I think that's so cool. Like anytime I tell someone that I lived there for 6 months, they're like, that is so amazing. Like I'm so jealous.
and I know like you had mentioned not really speaking Italian, which is pretty much the case for everybody coming in. Do you feel like overall Rome is an easy place, to be without speaking Italian?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not even that, like, obviously I was taking Italian class, but I would say that I was not fluent by the end of it. And, like, I feel like anytime I would go somewhere, I was still able to speak English, and, like, they understood, because I feel like a lot of people in Italy know, like, English. So I feel like that was super easy because I feel like a lot of tourists come there. I never felt like unsafe or like it was unnatural. And even if it was like they didn't understand, I was able to like pull up Google Translate and like show them. They're like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like everyone was very friendly when it came to like being like a like foreigner.
Yeah, and I feel like that's probably obviously the people's biggest concern making that jump is like the language barrier and everything. But I do think overall Rome is somewhere probably one of the easiest cities to transition to because it's just such a big city that there's always going to be people around that speak English, which is obviously a luxury. What about this? So for the gap year program, do you want to talk a little bit about the education side of it?
So I took Italian and then the sports management class, and like it was just nice because I was able to take those classes, and then they also transferred over to my high school transcript like for colleges, and they counted as college credits. So that was like super helpful, even though I wasn't like home or like in actually like in a school in the United States. I was still able to get college credits for those classes that count like today as extracurricular classes that I didn't have to take when I got here, which made like my life so much easier. But Italian was super nice. Like professor was super easy, helpful, like wanted you to learn. Obviously, she wants you to like be able to learn the language because not only is that gonna like, I mean, it's benefiting her because she's teaching us, but like it's benefiting you. Like she needs like you need to learn how to say the simple like words in Italian. And then also sports management was just cool because like obviously um the teacher would just like talk about like soccer trainings or like how you're supposed to take care of your body and like stuff like that. And I feel like that's like, I mean, obviously like you can always learn more about like your sport. I feel like that should be something that's interesting to learning. So I feel like it was never like too much, but like the classes were like interesting and like also beneficial.
Was there anything that surprised you about playing soccer at the highest level? Like you obviously went Division 1 in the United States. Was there anything that surprised you playing at that level coming straight from Italy?
I think that like obviously I kind of said this before, but like in Italy, it's not as like demanding of fitness, I feel like, and like they are so much more on like swinging the ball around, like being more technical, not relying on like how fast you can run, like how long you can, you know what I mean, like how much endurance you have, because like they just are so reliant on like passing and like getting out of it with technical ability. So I feel like that was like the only thing that I was like, whoa, like we have like these like obviously our fitness tests and like these standards that we have to like meet, where in Italy they're not as strict on that because like the players are so good technically that they like don't even really need to like they're not, it's not that they're not fit, but like they're like we don't need to rely on that when we're able to do like they play a different way of soccer. So I feel like that was the only transition that was like a little bit different. I mean, I feel like it's hard kind of to compare because like in Italy these girls are all have been playing forever, but they're like going pro like immediately or like wanting to go pro immediately. Where like I feel like college is like kind of a different way where like you're mixed with like all different ages. Where in Italy, like all the girls were the same age as me. So I feel like that's also something that might be a little bit different. Like I was when I went to college, I was playing with girls that are like 23 years old. And then like obviously in Italy, I was playing with girls that are all were all like 18. So that was pretty much like the only difference.
Okay, and I'm gonna clear that up a little bit just for anyone who's listening. Is that so? Macy's experience was because she played with the Primavera, so that was like a U19 team of Lazio, which is one of like the best clubs in Rome. Anyways, whereas if you did play for a Serie B, a Serie C at Eccellenza, there could be people from all different age groups. So that's totally like dependent on what you do. And then obviously at Rome City, we you also get the experience of getting to play with different ages. Would you obviously then recommend, I feel like the answer is yes, but recommend this experience then to other people considering doing a gap year?
Yes, I feel like anytime someone's like, oh my gosh, like, would you recommend even like studying abroad or like playing overseas like after college? I'm like, yes, because not only like obviously if you want to go pro, like that's a great way to like get do that, but also like you learn so much about yourself when you're traveling, like you meet different people, you get to learn so many different things. Like I grew so much as a person like in those 5 months. If I were to stay in high school and like those 5 months, you think I think I'd be the same person as like I was after the 5 months in Italy, like definitely not. So like I feel like I would 100% recommend that to anyone who's like considering.
Do you see yourself coming back to Europe after your college?
I would love to. I mean, like obviously I still have a couple like 3 more years left of like college eligibility. So obviously if like my body allows me to continue playing, I would love to like come back. But I mean I would love to even just like live in Italy or live anywhere after college. I feel like it's just so amazing. Like the Italian or European lifestyle in general is just an awesome way of life. Like I mean, obviously Gigi still is here, so every time I see her like posting or anything, I'm like, I miss it so much. I wish I was still there.
I do think it's, I mean, obviously, so I started as a gap year, and that's when Macy and I met. And then I decided I wanted to stay here and continue playing here. But I feel like there's so many master students as well that it's like they have their 1 year and they all want to come back after. It's just like
Yeah.
everybody falls in love when they come here, or majority of people do. And I think that it is super special what Rome City has because obviously, if you just moved away all by yourself and knew nobody would be such a different experience, but we almost have our own like family because we're all in it together. Like all of us are in the same boat. We're all far from our family. So it's kind of like we all have to lean on each other because we have nobody else but each other.
No, yeah. And I always say that to people. I'm like, if I didn't have Rome City, it would have been a totally different experience because I would have just been playing with those like my Italian teammates where I'm like, I don't really, they don't really know, they didn't know me because I wasn't able to talk to them in that way. Like, I still hung out with them outside of soccer, but it wasn't the same as like the people at Rome City where I hung out, like, I had breakfast with them, lunch, dinners. I would hang out with them like 24/7 except for the portion of time where I was at training with my club team.
And did you feel like while you were here, and obviously it's a busy schedule, I mean, the gap year is not too crazy because you're not having class every day, but obviously you're training a lot. Did you feel like you were able to balance everything like between soccer, school, your social life? Did you feel like it was a good balance?
Yeah, I feel like you have more time like in the day than you think too. Like obviously you have training and like the morning and like the night, but also like you have your classes, but like I'm personally someone that likes to be busy, so I feel like it was so fun. Like even the days that I didn't have classes, I was able to go downtown and like still able to explore. The times that we didn't have games on the weekends, like we were able to travel. I feel like honestly like the time that you're there, like you get out of it like what you put into it. So I feel like that's like when I went, I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can in this 6 months so that I can have like the best experience ever.
You
And
did.
I mean, I would say that I did. So yeah.
And okay, one other thing about adjustment is public transportation. I think that's a huge adjustment. How did you do with that?
Um, sorry, I was thinking about the time we got the ticket on the bus.
Yeah, we can actually share that story.
Um, okay, I public transportation for me was like pretty easy. I think, well, also my parents, when they moved me in, they were there for like 5 days or like maybe like a week, I think. So like we kind of got like me adjusted where I was like, okay, we did the metro, like I figured out how to do it on my own. Very easy, like right where all the apartments are by Rome City, there is a metro like 0.2 miles away that you walk onto that connects you like everywhere. So that was super easy. Also, like they have like Uber and everything like that. Like you're able to Uber wherever you want to go. And I don't think they're like that expensive, especially if you're like going with someone else, you can always split it. And then the bus, you do have to get like a pass or like a day pass. I never did that, but one time
We
I
learned our
did
lesson.
get
We learned our lesson.
we learned our lesson and we did get a ticket, but like other than that, I think public transportation is like very easy. I think it takes like a second to get a hang of and like obviously like get comfortable on, but like I never felt unsafe like when I was on the metro or on the bus or like even like you can walk anywhere. Like you could walk from obviously from the apartments to soccer at Rome City, like coffee shops. You could walk downtown if you really wanted to. Like so I feel like I never felt unsafe ever. Like even at night when I was like walking around, I never felt unsafe. Like it's a very safe city and public transportation is like definitely easy after you like try it a few times.
No, yeah, I agree too. And when we were here, our first year together, you had to like buy bus tickets on your phone or go like physically buy a bus ticket. And now I always pay because now they have Apple Pay on all the buses. So it's way better.
Oh,
So now you
yeah.
can just tap your phone and you're done. But before it was way harder. So we would try to be sneaky, and then they got us.
Yeah,
Um,
only once though, so it's okay.
I happened to be twice. Highly recommend. It's not worth it. Okay, well, any final words?
No, I just think anyone that's considering Rome City, you should definitely like consider it for a gap year. It was such an awesome experience and like you're gonna meet people that you're gonna be friends with for the rest of your life. Like I still talk to literally every single person that I was close with at Rome City, I talk to like all the time and check in. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely like just something you can't get anywhere else. There's not really any other good program, I feel like, where, well, at least that I know of, where it's like you get the luxury of playing soccer with your school or playing your sport with your school, playing like getting to the experience of play on a club team, getting your degree at the same time. So, or the gap year obviously is sets you up for going in to get your degree somewhere else. But
Yeah.
I just feel like it is such a unique experience and truly do recommend it with my whole heart to anybody that's interested.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
Well, thank you for interviewing me.
Thank you so much.